I'm Izu and welcome to an exciting video. Today I'm making a character in Create a Sim, and not just any character. I am making my first ever Dungeons and Dragons character. My kind of avatar. I don't know what you call them. Anyways, I am very new to D&D. I barely know anything. I'm doing my first actual campaign and I've done 2 sessions so far. And today I'm gonna tell you what my character is like and who she is and everything about her. Please be nice in the comments, because as I said, I am a noob when it comes to D&D. If I say something weird or if anything is like not applicable to normal quote-unquote official D&D rules or something, if I say something weird, this is just like what my character actually is like and what her like backstory is in my head, and then I will kind of, as I go, adjust everything to fit the actual D&D campaign. Like if there needs to be some different things, like for example her wild shape had to change because we didn't have the actual ones that I needed, etc. So anyways, this is not so serious, don't take it very seriously. This is just me telling you about my character. And if you like this kind of video and if you like my character, please give this a thumbs up, and if you want to see more of me in the future, don't forget to subscribe. Okay, so as you can see, I've been creating this redhead cute little girly, and her name is Laurel Wynn. She is half elf, her mother being human and then her father being an elf soldier kind of. And they met each other a long time ago and decided to settle down and become farmers. Not like actually super rich farmers with lots and lots of land, but just like low-key farmers with like sheep and goats, a little bit of land for like produce and stuff. So Laurel grew up in a little farm out in the countryside with her 2 brothers. She had one older brother and one younger brother that is a lot younger than her. She was around 9 years old or something like that when her brother was born. And also Laurel is a druid, so she's able to turn into different animals. Her primary animal that she turns into is a deer. She can also turn into a fox and a little owl. Not a big one like one of the Harry Potter owls, but more like just a tiny forest owl. When Adair, her brother, was only 2 years old, their mother unfortunately took ill with the flu or something like that. That went around the village and she sadly passed away, leaving their father to raise all 3 children. At that time, Laurel was 11 years old, so she could help out a little bit, and she did a lot of the housework and helped out with farm animals and did everything she could to help her father and her family. Unfortunately, that was not the only tragedy in her life, because several years later, something happened at the farm. She doesn't know what the cause was. She's trying to figure out what happened, but somebody attacked their farm and burned down all of the buildings, including their house. And in that whole chaos and fiasco, she sadly lost her big brother and her father, but fortunately was able to drag her and her little brother out of the flaming house before anything could really happen. After everything was resolved, they had held all the funerals and everything was done, she inherited the land that their farm had stood on, which she did not want to keep obviously. It was too painful to stay there, so she sold the farmlands, and with the money that she got from that, she put her brother in a boarding school. Her brother Adair is also a druid and is now studying in a school to be better with that and also getting all his other studies done. And to help with the payments, obviously one payment wasn't enough, Laurel had to do all these kind of odd jobs and favors for people to keep up with the school's payments. So she took on the adventuring life, a little bit into the criminality. She sometimes stole from like rich people or rich merchant caravans passing through the forest, or she did odd jobs finding and tracking people or objects that other people couldn't find, all that kind of stuff. She put her skills to use because she was good with being sneaky and stealthy. She's really good with a bow, and she's a druid, which obviously means that she can turn into animals, which comes in handy when you are tracking somebody in the forest. And as you can see, I gave her these little deer ears. I like to think that instead of the kind of pointy elf ears, she has these like deer ears. Unfortunately, there's no way to get colored ones. It looks a little bit odd that the ears are like flesh colored, but you can just imagine them to be like deer fur colored. I drew a picture of Laurel before I made her in The Sims. This is what she looks like in a drawing of mine, like how I picture her when I drew her. And I had a really good time making her in The Sims, and it was really awesome to make all these kind of poses of her in the game. I'll show you at the end where she poses with the arrow. And I also tried, because there's no like metamorphosis in the game, like you can turn into a werewolf, but that's not the same. I don't want her to be a werewolf. So I kind of tried this where she kind of leaps into being a fox. I hope you like it, even though it's not perfect, but yeah. I really think she looks adorable, and I really loved creating all her outfits and thinking what she would wear. In my head, the land of D&D is kind of this fantasy medieval kind of world where there's no like modern stuff. And also in my head, the societal rules are a little bit traditional, not in the sense that it's discriminatory. I still think that women can be anything and you can be of any skin color, obviously, because like there's literally like purple and green creatures, so I don't think any of that matters. But in my head it's more like women should wear either like long skirts when they're going into the village. Like you can't just show up in a miniskirt or something. Maybe you can, but like in my head it makes more sense that way, because I was trying to create these more medieval kind of traditional outfits for her. Not like completely accurate, because it is a fantasy world after all, but more towards kind of that fashion, if that makes sense. And about her kind of character stats, if you are interested, I rolled really lucky when creating her stats. So she's quite smart and stealthy and like sneaky and perceptive. She's like a really good, smart character. I'm really happy I got the stats that I really wanted. And she's not very kind of gullible. She's just the brain of the operation usually. But she's also a little bit distrusting and a little bit, not paranoid, but like does not trust people easily and does not like people initially. And she's friends with this orc that she is adventuring now in the campaign, and the orc is obviously played by my friend, and we're having a good time with that. It's kind of confusing, I'm not gonna lie. I find the D&D rules and kind of what I need to do and what's happening and what I can do still quite confusing, but overall I'm really enjoying it. I think it's good fun. Please let me know if you've played D&D and what you think about my character. As I said, everything is not canon in the actual campaign. Like I said earlier, her wild shape has to be different because the animals I can choose are not what I have. So in the campaign she's a wolf and a deer and a little stout. So just keep in mind that not everything is canon. It's just like my imagination, but her backstory is still quite canon. Like everything did happen and she has her brother in boarding school and all that. But yeah, it's been really fun. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more of my videos, you can subscribe and join the family. I hope you have a wonderful day or night and week or weekend whenever you're watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!